Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I apologize for the delay, but I did a picture show tonight, and that takes a lot of time. And there's just not enough time in a day. What can I say? But speaking of time, it's running out for some people that have been on the top of the pile for a long time, and panic is setting in with the media and with politicians and little criminals like Michael Cohen really joining together with the Trump is a dictator and what he's going to do and this and that. So on my thumbnail, I got a screenshot of from a Fox News post. Biden's actions on day one. Got rid of the Keystone XL pipeline. What did he lose there? 45,000 jobs, or might have broke 50. I don't know. Halted construction of the border wall. Rejoined Paris Climate Accord. You know how many billions that's costing us for nothing? Just a bunch of garbage hoax with the climate change. But anyway, restored undocumented immigrants in census. That has a lot to do with our representation in Congress and many other things. Money being appropriated and everything like that. Require MASKs on federal property. And rejoined the WHO. Okay, that's not even the whole list. That's not even the whole list. But I'm going to go over that and much, much more. And I have a picture. Well, I don't know if I should put that up right now. I'll wait on that. But I'll wait on that. We got people coming in. I'll just go over some things we talked about last week real quick while people are filing in. Here's Venezuela, in case y'all were wondering what I was talking about, where they have signed it. The president Maduro, whatever his name is, signed a decree annexing that Guayana Escobia there between Venezuela and Guyana. Okay, so we'll see what's going to happen with that. Going to be some rocky roads there. And we've got a new president in Argentina. We'll see how he responds. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Nikki. Robin, how are you doing? Leisha, Ian. Hi, Angel. Yeah, Nikki, we hope you're feeling better, honey. Hi, Joel. Debbie. Nice to see you. Susie. Everybody's rolling in. Miss Mindersue. Yes, please hit the like button. When you first come in, just get it out of the way. You know you're going to like it. Awaken Trillium, how you doing? Redhausen, how you doing? Yeah, if you don't like it, hit the thumbs down. I care, but, you got to be you. So come on in, shake off skin, and rattle around in your bones. Just come on in. Hi, Tennessee, how you doing? You should hit the thumbs up. So, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. The effects of this Hunter Biden indictments. Javier was sworn in. He's officially the new president of Venezuela. So here's I was talking about Vivek the last video I was doing. And I tell you what, if he's a new NWO robot or whatever, he's malfunctioning. He's not working out too good for the deep state. But anyway, the Trumpists put this up. I cut the top of that off there, but the Trumpists. Now this isn't something they fooled with. This is above. It says Vivek's debate notes. Here he wrote it out. That's not something somebody doctored. That's what he had on his pad. Nikki equals corrupt. So, we'll see what kind of game's going on. I know one thing. I know the The white hats are on top, okay? I know that. But that doesn't mean it's not a very, very dangerous game that we're playing. And I did get another comment. Oh, I meant to do that. Darn it. But I'll go over it. I got another comment about this fuzzing out faces on J6. I spent a half an hour talking about it. And I'll show you the comment and go over it. I just block the person from now on. I don't want to deal with nitwits. There's thousands and thousands of YouTube channels. Go watch something else. I'll go over that in a minute. Hi, Melinda. How you doing? Angela. Nice to see you, Joel. Javier's in Argentina. Well, a lot of you may know this. Hi, Doug. May know this, but Javier was in the U.S. in New York, and he converted to Judaism. He visited a very famous rabbi in New York and went to temple. And I'll play a little bit of his inauguration speech. And there are big subtitles underneath it. You can see what he's saying. It's a brief thing, but nobody can tell me this isn't a worldwide operation, okay? Now, he is showing the sun symbol, and when you hear what he is saying, you'll understand why. The sun symbol is going to stay, okay? It's not going to be used the way it was during the time of the Aztecs and the Mayans and that kind of worshiping business. It is dark to light, okay? That's what it's going to symbolize. And hi, Rick. Nice to see you. Im, how you doing? So, Tubla. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I hope my signal is good. So anyway, we got a good crowd in here. But, I don't want to harp on that business of blurring out the faces. But it is the attitude that I'm going to address. The attitude where people don't realize what's at stake. And here, I'll show you a little picture of what's at stake, okay? Right here. Let me get it up here. Right there. Is that it? Yeah, that's what's at stake. How you like that piece of furniture? Let me make it a little where people understand where I'm coming from. The Punisher. That's what this is. Mr. T is the Punisher, okay? Right there. And that's what these people we are battling are up against, okay? The Punisher. Right here. Hey, that'd make a good thumbnail, wouldn't it? Right there. Joe, what are you worried about? Not just Joe, but hi, William. How you doing? I got a 5x5 from Nikki. It's good. It's not very comfortable, and it's approved for federal cases now, thanks to Bill Barr. The one Trump calls the fat pig and criticizes, because why it takes good actors to make a good movie, okay? And I'll repeat it and repeat it. Bill Barr reinstituted the DAATH penalty, all right, the federal final ending penalty. And he also, his last week, he signed off on approving the different methods that can be used, like a gas chamber, old Sparky you see there in the background of this photo I got up. And this too, right here. We lay down, take a long nap, ends up as a dirt nap. That's what these people are facing. And they're getting to be household names. And as the things that they have done, here we go. Here's another one right here. Right here. as the things they have done come out, people are going to have less of a problem when we do what needs to be done. So I might make a black and white photo of Ouchie and do a thumbnail. I don't know if, since I'm kind of out of trouble, but we'll see. So that's getting to the attitude of, I might as well go over that. Wait a minute. Let me play Javier. It's got subtitles, and we still got people coming in. And if anybody misses it, they can just rewind it or watch it. Start the broadcast from the beginning. After we complete it. But anyway, this starts off with this presidential inauguration takes place, and now he's saying it in his native language, but it got plenty of subtitles there. Nice big subtitles.
La inauguración presidencial ocurra durante la fiesta de Hanukkah, la fiesta de la luz, ya que la misma celebra la verdadera esencia de la libertad. La guerra de los macabeos es el símbolo del triunfo de los débiles por sobre los poderosos, de los pocos por sobre los muchos, de la luz por sobre la oscuridad y sobre todas las cosas, de la verdad por sobre la mentira. Porque ustedes saben que prefiero decirles una verdad incómoda antes que una mentira confortable.
We prefer uncomfortable truth rather than the comfortable lie. But you saw where he was referring to dark to light. And, I fancy myself a little bit of a amateur historian. And I thought it was really interesting. He brought up the Maccabees. If you get a chance to watch a few videos about the Maccabees, what I know of that is the temple in Jerusalem. All right, this was at like 150 BC, before the second fall, of the temple. The Romans had moved in to the temple a statue of Zeus. And many of you who have watched my past broadcasts, I discussed some things about the father of Zeus, okay? I'm getting a little off topic, but let me just tell y'all real quick because this is wild. I discussed how the black stone, the meteorite is supposedly, and there's one in Mecca, and how the black stone was worshipped in, I think it was 220 AD, all right, by the Caesar that had a lot of sugar in his gas tank, and they're claiming as a patriarch or matriarch or mark of the identity movement. But anyway, that goes back to Alexander the Great, which is, 350 BC, something like that, where they had this meteorite that they considered came from the Greek god Cronus, who was eating his young because he thought they were going to overthrow him. So the last child, his wife, wrapped a stone in his swaddling clothes and kept Zeus off to the side. And Cronus thought he ate Zeus, and he spit him out, and he hit the ground as a meteorite. And that's the black stone that was being worshipped since Alexander the Great. And so the child that survived Cronus's cannibalism was Zeus. And they put a statue of Zeus in the Jewish temple. Well, the Maccabees didn't want to have nothing to do with that, and they had a revolt, and it was very violent, very rough. I'll let you all can read about it. But anyway, they evicted Zeus from the temple. So the black stone, a lot of people say, represents the moon god. Okay, so anyway, I see why Javier's got his sun on his sash, and it's still on the flag. It's still going to be there. But it's interesting that he, in his inaugural address, referred to the Maccabees, who were a small group of people who brought back the basics of the Jewish faith, restored the temple to its sacred position, and that's where where Hanukkah comes from, where they light the candles, and it's bringing light to the darkness. So it's all very interesting, and when you see what compels many of our leaders to do what they do, and how they do it. But so if you get a chance, you might want to read up on that. And it's just fascinating. And speaking of Hanukkah, this is what I talk about. I was looking at when I was doing just a regular program. University of Pennsylvania president lights special. Please don't pull that $100 million donation menorah because it is Hanukkah. So there she is lighting the menorah. And, well, it didn't work out too good for her. The donor pulled his $100 million. Goodbye. And what did she do yesterday? ABC News put this up. University of Pennsylvania President Elizabeth McGill has voluntarily resigned. The institution said following backlash over her comments during a congressional hearing on how she would handle remarks in the university community calling for the, quote, genocide of Jews. So it is backfiring on them big time. I mean, there's trouble at Harvard over this, MIT, University of Pennsylvania. So it's just starting to shake the ivory towers. And I'm glad. We're going to see more of it also. My goodness. Somebody said I sounded erudite. Erudite. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. Yeah, but, and it's funny, though, how I'll do a broadcast about something like the Black Stone that everybody worships, and even in Islam, it's at cross purposes sometimes because you're not supposed to worship idols. You remember Moses' staff after he died? They got rid of it. They said, no, you're not worshiping a inanimate object. And, they do it with the Black Stone, unfortunately. And now we all know a pretty good history of the philosophy. Not that it's the very same Black Stone. But anyway, some of the things we were talking about through the week is starting to bubble up. And I'm loving it. I mean, I see snippets coming out on the regular news, CNN, whether they like it or not. And Fox, of course, is really, really paving the way for some truths that most people have never heard about. We hear it on places like Fox, even CNN and MSNBC, but we've heard it all. We've been hearing it. We knew this stuff 5, 6, 7 years ago. And especially about the thing you get in your shoulder, we knew back in 2019. So it doesn't hit at us as hard because we already knew KNEW, we're the news. So, but I look at it from this perspective. What if I was a doubting Thomas or thought that was all conspiracy stuff, or worse yet, had never heard these types of discussion before? Now, I'm going to play a video from Rand Paul, and keep that in mind. If you're a normal person who's not been exposed to a lot of the truths, this is a video, but I'll play it in a second. But while I'm talking about truths, let me find it. What happened is Alex Jones back on Twitter. Alex Jones back on Twitter. You are the resistance. InfoWars, stay tuned. And he's got people following him, followed by Kyle Rittenhouse. And he's got 860,000 followers. And I'm sure that's going to grow into the millions. Where is that? Here we go. Here's the poll Elon Musk put out. Now I know Alex, he comes out up with some wild stuff, and he's boisterous and loud and a lot of time, but hey, a lot of things he talked about, happen to be a facts of the matter. So Elon Musk had to reinstate Alex Jones on this platform, and yes was 70%, no 30%, out of 1,966,000 votes. Final results. The people have spoken, and so it shall be. So, welcome back, Alex Jones. And, well, unfortunately, this screenshot's got Andrew Tate up here. I call him a cyber pimp, okay? I don't have any respect for him. I don't know why people think so much of him. He's got a loud mouth and a big platform, and he does talk about the DS, deep state, and all that kind of stuff. So, they say he behaves the way a man should behave. I do not believe it. I think he's nothing but a cyber pimp. But if he gets the word out to certain people that otherwise wouldn't get the word out, fine. But he's like a dish rag to me. Here's an example. Frank had on his show, 71-year-old Romanian yoga guru arrested in France for allegedly running an international S3X cult. And where he was doing some of this stuff was Romania, the same place that the cyber pimp I just showed got arrested. Now, I don't know what's going on with that, but he's walking on eggshells, I can tell you that. But this guy is just like John, and the other half is of God, right? Same kind of setup, the one that Oprah was singing the praises of. So now we see that a lot of this stuff, when you think about Nexium, we've gone over that. And for new people, you can watch my old videos or keep watching here because I'll go over stuff again many times. People that are running these cults that traffic human beings, and mostly expressly for them to be engaging in S3 actual activity, especially when they're not of age. So anyway, and another dark to light situation. A lot of people didn't discuss this fat slob, except when they did, they said, oh, he's an American hero. No. he helped facilitate the first impeachment hoax, okay? Or second, I don't know which one he was in, but he was in on something. He's a dual citizen, and now we find out, I had his picture up, his stupid little fat brother is running for Congress somewhere. But he's being exposed. Trident International LLC. This again was out of Fox News. Trump impeachment witness Alexander Vindman accused of trying to profit off the Ukraine war with defense contracts. Former Trump impeachment witness Alexander Vindman is being accused of trying to profit off the Ukraine war through lucrative defense contracts through a private company. That's Trident is the name. Remember that name, Trident, because not only this person involved in profiting off the war, he also attempted to change a transcript with President Trump speaking to Zelensky. He tried to tamper with official documents. Isn't that what that's called? I'm not an expert, but when you try to change a transcript, and he admitted it in Congress. So he is complicit in the sabotage, really, of Trump's foreign policy, especially when it comes to Ukraine. And we'll see what happens with him. But it's coming out more and more. Here's a meme I saw a couple of years back, but it popped up again on Truth Social right here. Trump Army. Ha 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 ha. January 2016, Trump Army now. Ha ha. Hi, Jared. How you doing? Yeah, he probably is. He probably is. Phil's in the house too. Alex is secure. I don't know about that. Well, he went over there to help them with their offensive. Hi, Dreamer. How you doing? David, how you doing? Connecticut. All right. Y'all be careful up there. You got a lot of kooky people up there from Latin America. They're hitting a lot of those northern states where they usually have been just around the border states. So, yeah. Let me see. Tasha, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Tasha, yeah. Okay. If I missed anybody, Jared's here. Gloria. Oh, you're right on time, Gloria. Hi, Dreamer. So everybody's on time in my book because you can always go back and listen to what you missed. My main thing is, come on in, shake off your skin, rattle around in your bones. Here we go. Andy No put this out. This is a lady I talked about. You might as well see. A woman named Lanisha Henderson has been arrested for allegedly trying to burn down Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth home in Atlanta. Now, I think that is a federal monument now, because if it is, Trump had that executive order he signed, which is still in force. If you damage a federal monument, it's like 10 years, and it's such a shame. I mean, I hate to see this. I really do. She was detained by visiting off-duty New York Police Department officers. The shocking incident has not received wall-to-wall media coverage. But here she is. I mean, she's a nice-looking young lady, but, you know, what in her brain is making her think? What, she trying to frame people? She's trying to frame a group of people, in this case, you know, I guess white people, by doing a Jesse Smollett type hoax, or is she trying to, like, feed a sense of victimhood in herself. I don't know. They got a lot of soul searching to do. And I really hate to see a young person get themselves in that situation. But hey, you did it, and you're going to be shown to the world. And the best thing everybody can hope for is that you check yourself before you wreck yourself, and do a little self-inflection, young lady. Okay, let's get on that self-inflection. All right. We got some Trump bumper stickers for you, and hats and stuff like that. If you don't end up in the joint till 2034. But anyway, you never know when people are going to wake up. So anyway, here we have this video from Maria Bartiromo. And she is talking with Rand Paul. And they discuss CHYNA's involvement in the sniffles that came over here that affected our elderly people. Isn't it funny how the one that they were talking about was running rampant through really young kids, in elementary school, and they were calling it white lung disease. And as I've said before, I've looked at x-rays for pneumonia. I had it back in '89. That's how it shows up in an x-ray. It's a white, cloudy looking. But anyway, they come up with these terms like murder hornets and climate change, or no, wait a minute. What was it? Global warming, hoax. That's what Trump talked about in his speech, his last one he did. They are so good at coming up with these catchphrases. But anyway, so what happened with that? Now we're not hearing it. Maybe it got tamped down. I tell you, this thing with Elon Musk taking over X was a huge blow to the NWO, New World Order weaponry in the illegal psychological warfare campaigns. That's the exact words Trump used. But anyway, listen to Maria talk to Rand Paul, and I'll interrupt it here and there, but pretend like you're somebody that had never thought about where this stuff came from, that you never doubted Ouchie, Dr. Ouchie, when you saw him on Vanity Fair, you thought he was a hero, and you start hearing the things that Rand Paul's going to say in front of a national audience of millions.
Ability here, and why the Biden administration does not push for it. I mean, right now, as we speak, there are American investors continuing to underwrite the CCP by buying those companies that are tied to the Chinese military. It seems this administration is not willing to pull the economic lever, and that is shut off the capital markets to Chinese communist companies that may have been involved in that cover-up or tied to the military.
Well, we still continue to fight the Biden administration every day just for unclassified information, and they resist at every turn. We've had to basically withhold nominees and withhold legislation to try to get anything from the Biden administration. And I'm not sure what it is. Either it's sympathy or believing that relations with China are so important that the truth can be obscured. But there's also a certain amount of culpability in the Biden administration throughout several different departments. USAID, NIH, HHS.
Holy cow, you guys didn't get to hear what I was saying. I had the mic backwards. But anyway, what I was saying is watch how Biden's walking. He walks like a stiff puppet. And Xi has got to walk kind of stiff-legged too to keep pace with Biden. And what I was saying is Rand Paul's talking about why Biden won't call out CHYNA about the origins of the illness. But anyway, I'll let it play.
They're withholding documents because they funded the lab in Wuhan, not just once, not just twice, but for a decade they were funding. And we have Anthony Fauci on record as saying that even if a pandemic occurs, even if a gain-of-function research infects a scientist and a pandemic occurs, that the knowledge would be worth the risk. And I think most people who had a loved one die, from COVID, either here or around the world, would disagree and think Anthony Fauci made a disastrous judgment call. But he also took the research and it didn't go before the normal scrutiny. There's a safety committee that was supposed to review this, and Anthony Fauci allowed this research to be done at his signature, at his conclusion, at his approval, without the approval of the safety committee. And this, for this, he really should go down in history, perhaps as one of the worst people in public office ever, and responsible for probably more deaths than any other individual in the medical world.
Well, I mean, there was so much.
Did you hear that, folks? He's going to go down in history as being responsible for more DEATH than anyone else in the medical world. That's what he said. And he's going to say more than that.
Censorship of so much information that was vital for Americans to see and understand about COVID and about the vaccines, but they censored it. Can we even trust health officials in this government?
Well, it was directed explicitly by him. We go over this in the book because he commissioned scientists who were saying in private that they thought it was a manipulated virus, manipulated in a lab and came from a lab. He convinced them in public to say the opposite. He commissioned and edited a paper that said that absolutely this did not come from a lab, while privately all of these same scientists were saying in all likelihood it did come from a lab. So there really was an orchestrated cover-up on this. We also now know that he was visiting the CIA in early 2020. We know that the CIA scientists, 7 of them, voted 6-1 to say it came from the lab, and then they were reversed by superiors. We need to know whether Anthony Fauci influenced the superiors or perhaps the opposite. Did the CIA influence Anthony Fauci? But we also need to know how often he was visiting and what he was there for. Our understanding is that he wasn't recorded on visitor logs, but he was appearing frequently at the CIA. You have to realize that he was not a scientist in charge of a cure for cancer. He was also in charge of a lot of bioweapons money and in charge of a lot of things that had dual use, and they won't reveal any of this to us. They had weekly meetings on dangerous dual use.
Weekly meetings on dangerous dual use, okay? And he's talking about clandestine meetings, all right? Off-the-record meetings with C.I.A. Okay? And 6 out of the 7 scientists for the C.I.A. Okay, said that it came from the lab. And they were overruled. And Rand Paul suspects that Fauci is behind the overruling. So he's talking serious stuff. Think about the old Sparky I had when I first started the broadcast. I'll put it back up later.
Research concerns and gain of function, and not one item of any of those meetings has been released to us, despite us asking for it for over 3 years.
Do you believe COVID was a bioweapon?
I think that it was probably developed for a vaccine. I think they developed coronavirus. They inserted this cleavage site in to make it more infectious to humans. And then they had a vaccine very early on because I think they were developing a vaccine against COVID, and then COVID got out.
Well, remember who had the patent on that, what he just said, the VAX, okay? Who had the patent? Fauci's tied to the patent, and so's Bill Gates. Before it even came out in this country, they had a patent on it. So that's what he's hitting around at. Now, listen to this last part.
The interesting thing is the scientist, Dr. Zoe Houston, who developed it, died mysteriously 2 months after the development of the virus. He fell from a tall building in Beijing, and there's a lot of questions as to the circumstances of his death.
Wow. Well, I did not realize that he died from a tall building in Beijing. That's incredible.
I love Maria. But Maria, he didn't die from a tall building. He died because he was probably thrown from a tall building. So anyway, yeah, that little snippet on a Sunday morning show, if people were paying attention, there's a lot of information in there. A lot of information crammed in that clip. And it's a good, if you got a pair of scissors in the YouTube little thing options you have there, take a snippet and send it off to somebody. Hi, Christina. Nice to see you. Alan, how you did? Yeah, he didn't fall. Single songwriter, how are you doing? You're quite welcome. So, let me see. Who's coming in? Pappy Two Bears is in. Joan, how you doing? So, yeah, a lot of information in a snippet. And he's talking serious stuff, especially about that he would go down in history as responsible for the most loss of life. Anybody in history, right? Oh, gee, what's that old Sparky right there? Old Sparky. And so I got this. Well, let me tell you. Since we're seeing how now we know why, okay? Why Fauci, I keep saying it's for his own protection to a large degree right here. He's got all that security. I got it. I got the picture expanded too much, but he's got all that security around him. They're packing heat. They're packing heat, and they're not letting anybody go near him because if he's cooperating, he'll be the next one going off a tall building. So there's too much that's gotten out as far as people getting patents and covering up where the outbreak came from and things like that. For him not to be cooperating, if you get my drift. Oh, here's a big story. Since X is putting out stuff. Now, those of you who followed me from my last channel, and I'll get the thumbnails and put them up so you guys can see. I did a story. I did three broadcasts about Gonzalo Lira. And Elon Musk put out, I did my broadcast last year, but Elon put out an American YouTuber has been imprisoned for 5 years in Ukraine and allegedly tortured for making videos. This is not okay. Tucker Carlson reported in episode 47. Gonzalo Lira is an American citizen who's been tortured by in a Ukraine prison since July. I've heard May, but we'll see. For the crime of criticizing Zelensky, Biden officials approve of this because they'd like to apply the same standard here. The media agree. There's a statement from Gonzalo Lira's family. But anyway, Gonzalo Lira is a California citizen who was kidnapped and then released last year. And the Daily Beast was working with that, I guess I can say TRANS, right? Reporter Ashton Cirillo. He decided he was a she and then became a she and then became a reporter and then ended up over in Ukraine and put the bad finger on Gonzalo Lira. He's on YouTube, or was on YouTube, probably still is, as Coach Red Pill. And he has family over in Ukraine. And while he was in Ukraine, I played some of the clips that he put out about what was going on, the corruption and stuff like that. Next thing you know, he gets kidnapped by Secret Service equivalent, not like presidential Secret Service. I'm talking secret police, okay, where they beat you senseless and put you in jail for saying the wrong things. So anyway, it's back in the news, and I was asking about Gonzalo a couple of broadcasts back, and now, hey, I'm way ahead of the curve. I was a year ahead of this from Tucker and Elon, and also this last kidnapping of him. I was talking about him being kidnapped a second time. So I have to get a clip of that Michael Cohen freaking out, calling Trump a going to be a dictator and going to be X3 executing people, right? And I don't have that clip yet. But he's on the main news companies. The bottom line with Cohen is he's a criminal. And he got convicted for being a criminal, had nothing to do with Trump. And this is where he got lured, and Trump put this up on his True Social. Judge Guan has had unethical ex parte communications with Michael Cohen in Trump's civil fraud case. This goes beyond election interference. Here we have another picture of the old creep, the old winehead right here. DJT put that up. And Guan's connection to Michael Cohen explained. And there's his little clerk over there. She scooted her chair over just a little bit because they were close enough they could play footsies. So anyway, this is going beyond election interference. We're getting into national security matters. And I discussed the fact of the matter was that Trump was, like Vivek said, the 2016 election was stolen by the intelligence agencies, namely that Trump was not able to exercise the powers that he was duly elected to exercise. He could not run it. He was hamstrung. He could not run this country the manner in which he wanted to, and the American people wanted him to. And that's why I think he's going to get a mulligan. That's why I think he's going to get a mulligan. He was, there's a thing in real estate called an effective eviction. In other words, you can make somebody's life so miserable that they leave a place they're renting from you, or a place that they have a lawful right to be living in. And there's no court or nothing like that. It's just a loss of quiet enjoyment of the property or whatever, and you're effectively evicted. They effectively removed him from office even though he was in the chair. They did it through their actions. So, and it's a conspiracy, it's coordinated, and I think he's going to get a mulligan. But I like this little drawing I put up, 2024, Save the Nation, got Tucker Carlson. And I guess that's Vivek over there beating on drums too. So people are working on these neat little memes all the time. We got to open up the meme cannons, right? So I'm just looking through the chat, seeing how y'all are doing. Well, I tell you, my last broadcast, I had a little fit, right? I had a little fit. Let me put up some meme. I did put up that one meme. Let me see. Here's another one for you. Here's one for you. Ha ha ha. You may have 90 pounds on me, but I got 30 rounds on you. How about that one? Ha ha ha. Oh, yeah, Judge Gorn's been to the island. You better believe it. I'm sure he has. Speaking of that, I put up that earlier, I put up this picture of Vivek having on his note, Nikki equals corrupt, right? Well, since we're all about exposing the corrupt people, this is the one I was talking about last night. Trump, let's see, Trump put this up that said, "This disgusting slob, a Democrat political operative." No, I don't mean this disgusting slob. Chris Christie, the outlaw Jersey whale. No, I'm not talking about that one. And no, you can't call him a fat pig. That Mr. T said that himself. You cannot call him a fat pig. But anyway, it's a different disgusting slob. It's the same guy who funded a woman I knew absolutely nothing about, sued me for RAPE, which I was found not guilty. She didn't remember the year, decade, much else. In her interviews, she said some amazingly inconsistent things, disgraceful, very unfair. I was asked by my lawyer not to attend. Quote, "It was beneath me and they have no case," and that was not good advice. Well, here is the disgusting slob. Let me find him. Here, where are you, you slob? Here he is. And you know, these billionaires hate that. Here he is. Big, disgusting slob right here. That's the one Trump's talking about. But why am I bringing that up with Vivek and Nikki? Top Democrat donor Reid Hoffman, the disgusting slob, gives $250,000 to Nikki Haley at Super PAC. This is the same slob that financed that E. Jean Carroll, that little scarecrow of a woman. So, anyway, the political team of Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, asked a super PAC supporting Nikki Haley if it would take money from the billionaire, and she took it. So you're going to give it back, Nikki, or are you going to stay in bed? Oh, that's a ugly thought, but are you going to stay in bed with the fat slob? And here's that meme I was telling you about. General, and I can't put it up very long. You see who it is, General Mike, and then the second name is Flynn. Interesting iceberg. This was Ben McMillan put it out. And there you have the Disney castle, and underneath it, you got not the kind of temple on the side of your head. So, hey, we're going to put it out more and more. All this stuff has very serious consequences. All this stuff is being put out in front of people who never thought any of this stuff was real. But let me get, by the way, folks, this is a viewer-supported and creator-supported channel only. I don't get anything from any of these platforms. I just beat my head against the wall, do the best I can to get stuff to you. Got to buy me a coffee link in the description if anybody wants to help out. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate Gary, who was the last one to help me out on Buy Me a Coffee, sponsored my last program big time. And I thank you. And Lone Wolf, I see a lot of people I see in the description that's helped out. Oh, I hate to bring you down. I had this I didn't get to show you all the other week. Miss Universe pageant in El Salvador, Miss Portugal, and Miss Netherlands are both men. So, yeah, I didn't want to copy that video, but I don't know. I just saw it and I never did put it up. Speaking of conspiracy theories, here we go. Breaking. Scientists warn that Earth could run out of conspiracy theories by 2025 if they keep coming true at the current rate. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, I had to just put that up. But anyway, what I was mad about the other day, yesterday, was I was talking about how, Mike Johnson's got his reasons for blurring people's faces out. And let me explain a little bit more. Do you know that if you make a copy, say you got a Canon copier or Hewlett Packard copier or something like that, and you copy a letter for a long, long time, for decades, they've had technology where they can look at that letter and tell you it's coded. These printers put a lot of information, micro information that you can't see. And it could have as much stuff as the date the copy was made, okay? Date and time. Anything that you could find out, especially if it can be hooked up to Wi-Fi, can be encoded in the letter that you copy, or the pay stub, or the anything you copy, a picture. Well, they've taken that technology into phones and videos. I can copy a video that somebody else makes, okay? But if they have the right technology, they can look inside that video and tell what device was used to copy the video, what program you used, X recorder or whatever, when you copied it. Why am I bringing that up? Because I'm talking about the J6 situation. And I said we could not rely on average citizens being able to adequately document the actions of people, the bad actors that needed to be documented. We had to have white hat operatives in there doing that. Well, what led me to even bring that up was this comment. I blocked the person's name out. I'm not here to pick on anybody. But somebody, when I said, Mike Johnson had his reasons for blurring people's faces out, his 40,000 hours of stuff, and you want to make sure you don't have any of your operatives exposed, especially if they've been implanted or infiltrated into these dangerous groups. You don't want to out your operatives. And I thought that was because they put in there, no reason to blur unless you got something to hide. I'm sorry, I don't agree. And that got under my skin. I said, wait a minute. So I did another broadcast and I went over it again, just what I was saying. Well, it's common sense. You don't want to out somebody. Because why? He said, we don't want them harassed. Well, he wasn't talking about just FBI. They can be harassed many ways. Okay? Their families can be harassed. And by harass, think Seth Rich. Okay? Think about the Georgia senator's aide who got in a car, quote, air quote, wreck, where the damn thing blew sky high. That's harassment, okay? We're dealing with dangerous people who are getting put in a corner. A corner. So I thought I explained that very well, but so here's the next comment, same person. After I did that video, if the FBI wanted those folks, they already know who they are, in all capital letters, like they're shouting at me. Because why are they doing this? Because they want to know. They claim they want to know. They have a right to know everybody's face at J6. And that's a cover-up if they don't put it out. Well, this person has got cement in their damn head. Okay? First of all, as I said in my last broadcast, they probably haven't even watched the videos that have already been put out and correlated in a very funny, brief way, proving that this is a hoax, and they're not sharing that with normal people. In other words, they just are sitting on their asses demanding whatever their little pea brain demands. And they don't think, even if they got the information they're demanding, they wouldn't go through the damn effort and time to spread it out there to wake normal people up. Certainly not do 1/10, 1/1000th of the effort I put in to make a wake people up. And so I blocked this person. If they have an epiphany and their brain starts functioning properly and they understand that Mike Johnson, he's releasing 40,000 hours, and I'll bet you dollars to donuts that a lot of that footage the J6 committee has never seen. I guarantee you, they had body cam footage and they had cameras mounted on the buildings. They didn't have all the private videos that were being taken by the aforementioned white hat operatives I'm talking about that helped to document everything. We know special forces were inserted because General McInerney told us, and we saw videos of them running down the steps with Nancy Pelosi's computer underneath their coat. Okay? And they weren't the only operatives. I guarantee you there's going to be footage come out that none of the black hats even know exist. And yeah, they have to go over it and they have to make sure their own people don't get outed. So I tell you, if this guy or gal or whatever, whoever is sitting there shouting at me, if the FBI wanted those folks, they'd already know who they are. Like hell. Okay? And if they were in the service, this person would be a potato peeler. All right? I'd say, hey, look, we got to have enough potatoes for tomorrow. You're perfect for it. Your brain doesn't work. Go over and peel those potatoes. And then I'd say, hey, here's a shovel. Dig a latrine. Okay? I'll be back in 3 hours. Dig a latrine. I'd come back in 3 hours. Oh, looks good. You know, it's wide enough. It's deep enough. Yeah, it looks good. But one thing here, it's in the wrong spot. Fill it back in. Tamp the ground real good. Every 2 inches, you tamp it. I want it just the way it was before you dug. Why'd you dig it here? Now dig another one. Don't look at me with your mouth hanging open. Get to work. That's what they would end up with, that attitude and that lack of thinking, especially in dangerous situations. Okay? This is high-level stuff. But taking care of your own and not exposing your own, a moron would realize you have to do that. Okay? So with that level of thinking, potato peeling and latrine digging, perfect. It would be perfect. But anyway, now hopefully that's the end of that. And if somebody I block wants to come back with a new account, a different name, fine. But don't keep peppering me with stupidity, because I put up with it for a little bit, but I don't put up for long. So if they get their head on right, fine. If not, like I said, thousands of YouTube channels. Go find another one to watch. And don't tell them any secrets because they'll out you. You know, I want to show this video real quick. Everybody says, I got in trouble one time because I said, look, you don't have to fall down on your knees and say thank you to every. I appreciate firefighters. I appreciate veterans. I appreciate police officers, but I have cautioned in the past that you don't have to fall down and kiss up to everybody who ever put a badge on. And I said that we have to separate the wheat from the chaff. Here you got a situation. You see a walker there. You see, this is a paramedic who's been called to rescue somebody who is in distress, right? And yeah, man, let me tell you, they go right to action, right to action. They want to take care of this old person, see? Okay, an elderly person needs help. Paramedic comes in. Let's see, we got some money here. Cash, put it in my pocket. Yeah, what else we got? Oh, a camera. Okay, let me put that money back. I think they're still breathing downstairs. I'll get to that in a minute. See. Did you catch that? Was the sound good? Stealing money. Been called because somebody's in distress, and what do? They go through the house looking for money. All right, so no, I don't automatically fall down on the ground. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. I was watching some of these parole hearings out of Louisiana. And everybody that served in the Army, they'd say, thank you for your service. Here's some guy that rubbed out somebody for over nothing. I don't care if they were in the service. You know, they committed heinous crimes, but they go, oh, the first thing we want to tell you is thank you for your service. And they'll say, well, when you messed around with those two 9-year-olds and you did this and that, and they give details, you know, what they did to the kids. And I'm like, what are you thanking them for the service for? Like I've said before, there were over 200 men that faced the trap door, if you know what I'm talking about, the rope and the trap door. Just during Nuremberg, American soldiers, okay? There's a point where you disgrace the uniform while you're serving and post-service. Post-service, your actions can be such that, no. What they do with Hermann Goring, he won the biggest medals and he'd earned them in World War I as a flying ace. Okay, he was a big war hero, but Hermann Goring, when he got caught after World War II, they took all of his medals, they stripped him of everything off his uniform, and they took his medals and they pried the stones out, the diamonds and the gold, anything of value, and they smashed up the medals because he dishonored the military. Okay, but anyway, I didn't mean to go off on that rant. But, yeah, don't be a potato peeler, I saw somebody say. Oh, they stole painkillers, yeah. Yeah, there's always reports. I had a friend who was in distress, and he ended up being taken to the hospital, and his wallet was at the house, and it was completely empty. It had $224 in it. Every damn dollar was gone. So, by your fruits, you shall be known. Not your whatever badges you collect, or stuff you hang on the wall, degrees and stuff. It doesn't mean squat. It is your fruits. Hi, Melinda. My Truth Social is, I think I got a picture of, because I had some of Mr. T's truths that he put out. Let's see here. There's my logo right there. The bat signal Trump right there. It's Mountain Man Speaks, I think. And I got that Bat signal. But page 1, let me see if this is page 1. Well, that's page 2 of page 2. Let me get this thing squared away here. Page 1. Statement of 45th President Donald J. Trump. As everyone knows, and this is all caps, I have conclusively testified in the corrupt Biden-directed New York State's Attorney General's rigged trial against me. World-renowned experts, highly respected bank and insurance executives, real estate professionals, as well as others, both honest and credible, have stated clearly and unequivocally that I and my very successful company did nothing wrong. My finance statements were conservative, liquid, and, quote, extraordinary. Some people say extraordinary. I like to say extraordinary. A top professor from NYU Stern said, quote, if Mr. Trump were my student, he would get an A on his financial statements. I've never seen a statement that provided so much detail, is so transparent as these statements, unquote. Plus, they all have an ironclad disclaimer clause stating that the users must do their own due diligence and analysis. No reliance. The only fraud committed was by the highly partisan and out-of-control judge and the racist AG, who promised that I will get Trump. Called the judge a fraud. Accurately so. Okay. Page 2, which I blew up. Oh, let me see. Oh, my goodness. What have I done? So far down, I can't get it to come up. Oh, my word. There we go. Truth details. Let's see. Page 2, they claim that Mar-a-Lago is worth only $18 million when it's worth 50 to 100 times that amount in order to legally reduce my values and make a fake case against me. They did this on other properties as well. Hey, that's fraud. If they knowingly do it, they wouldn't give me a jury. Likewise, the AG thugs do not want to acknowledge that I have paid almost $300 million in New York City state taxes during the years in question. Importantly, I wanted the appellate division, which effectively ended most of the case, but the biased judge, let me see, what am I doing here? Did I get rid of that one? Refused to accept their order. An unheard of first, based on the above and the fact that our unassailable final expert witness has been so strong and irrefutable. And the final witness told the court they should be ashamed of themselves, ashamed of Letitia at least, has been so strong and irrefutable in his testimony, which will conclude on Tuesday, and that I have already testified to everything and have nothing more to say other than that is a complete and total election interference Biden campaign witch hunt that will do nothing but keep businesses out in New York. I will not be testifying on Monday. MAGA. So, no testimony Monday. I said it was a danger zone because they would try to rope him in on the gag order. But they're out of luck. Ha ha. Out of luck. And here's another one. Letitia Peekaboo James, the same team from the New York State Attorney General's office, are responsible for driving ExxonMobil out of New York, taking billions of dollars in taxes and thousands of jobs to Dallas and other cities. On top of all that, Peekaboo, representing New York State, lost the case. Well, just the Trump organization, $300 million, it's nothing to sneeze at all. Whoops. What the heck did I do? There we go. All right. So, hey, what's up with this scam? Here's a scam for you. Daily Mail. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs demands $512 million reimbursement from Biden in scathing letter accusing him of failure to secure the southern border. What are they trying to launder the money somehow? Because we all know Katie Hobbs, she ain't no white hat, but I don't know. Is Biden going to approve that $500 million? He gets 10% as a big guy. Anytime I see stuff like that, I think money laundering. Money laundering. Can you blame me? Here's Elon. Here's where he tells everybody that if the FBI gets a hold of him and tries to keep him or force him to censor people, that he's willing to go to jail over it. Okay, I'll let him tell you in his own words.
Though the FBI, the DHS, etc., if they reach out to X, I believe they called it defensive briefings in 2020 regarding, which eventually culminated in the censorship of Hunter Biden. If they started reaching out again, would that be something that you or the team, and no, I can understand if you don't want to answer now, but you would consider making public?
We will be as transparent as possible with that, yeah, and frankly, if I think a government agency is breaking the law in their demands on the platform, I would be prepared to go to prison personally if I think they are the ones breaking the law.
Yeah, he said he'd go to prison, so hopefully that won't be the case. But they want to do it to him. They want to put him in prison. Oh, here you go. Here's a 58-second clip. It had sound with it, but what you will see, I see people dropping off. I must have made people mad with my rant, but anyway. See that car in the upper right-hand corner? Somebody's going to get out of that car and bring a bunch of papers to put in this box. And they're going to get papers from the person behind them in the car to dump in the box. She going back to her car, she found out that a lot of the papers weren't signed. And you'll sit here and watch her sign them and put them back on her dash one at a time and then go dump them in the box after she signs it for I guess the people were just forgot and she's filling in the blanks for them to make sure their vote counts. Isn't that nice? She made sure everybody's ballots were signed. She must put, 30 of them in there. That's so nice. But anyway, folks, it is getting down to where people are going to be paying a heavy price, and they're starting to get nervous. They're starting to, their fangs and claws are starting to come out. And I see Nikki went Betty by, and that one clip I was going to play, I will get it from Michael Cohen, was saying that Trump was going to go after, I believe he specifically said ABC executives, okay, among others. And I will close out playing this clip about ABC executives, why they might be in big trouble. Because remember, ABC producers worked hand in glove with Nancy Pelosi and the J6 committee to produce that committee hoax to overthrow Trump and interfere with the election. And they also covered up Jeffrey E. and his island, and they threw all this girl's work in the trash, and she will tell you exactly who she had the dirt on that ABC News covered up. So, folks, you all have a great night. I'll play this video for you. I appreciate you all for tuning in and spending your precious time with me, and I hope you all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. Do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. There were a lot of men in those planes, a lot of men who visited that island, a lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.